I'm Charles Salembier, the president of Virginia Metalcrafters. Today I want to talk to you about what we do at Virginia Metalcrafters and about the concept that guides our efforts. That concept is perhaps best captured by the simple phrase, handmade by American craftsmen. This candlestick was made more than 200 years ago to grace one of the beautiful 18th century homes in what we know today as Colonial Williamsburg. As you look at this brilliant, gleaming brass, its proportions, its beautiful style, it's hard to imagine the skill that must have been required to produce it by hand without modern industrial techniques. There is a certain pride of craftsmanship in an elegant candlestick or any piece of brass that is handmade. It's this sense of pride, this spirit of craftsmanship that we endeavor to put into everything that we make at Virginia Metalcrafters. Our pride in what we do is reflected in the fact that we have been selected by many of our nation's finest museums and restorations to make their brass and mahogany reproductions. Colonial Williamsburg, historic Charleston, Old Sturbridge Village, the Smithsonian Institution, and the list goes on. Why have we been chosen by so many? Look with me for a moment at this antique candlestick and at our handcrafted reproduction of it. The trueness of shape and style, the same integrity of workmanship, design, and construction, an integrity that extends throughout the piece and not just on the surface. This reproduction was cast in two pieces in a handmade sand mold, just like the antique original. Some products may appear to reproduce this original, but the appearance may only be superficial. Look at this, for example. Perhaps similar, but it hardly shares the integrity of the original. Yes, the way we do it is the hard way, but you are assured of the authenticity and the integrity of a product made, much as it was 200 years ago. I'd like to take you for a short tour. For a few moments, we'll visit Colonial Williamsburg to experience the quality of life as it was in the 18th century, a quality that we endeavor to preserve in all of our products. From there, we'll observe the people and the processes required to make these lovely reproductions. Over 10 years ago, we celebrated the 200th anniversary of our nation. That celebration reminded us of our heritage and the fine creations that have survived 2 centuries, creations which add to the quality of our lives. Quality, fine design, traditional skills, and painstaking craftsmanship. This is the story of Virginia Metalcrafters, its products, and its people. The splendor and elegance of the 18th century is represented in handcrafted furnishings in the Governor's Palace at Colonial Williamsburg. The 18th century was a brilliant period in the history of domestic furnishings. Skilled craftsmen designed and produced objects of timeless beauty and style. The gleam and sparkle of polished brass caught the light of fire and candle in the finer homes of England and the colonies. Now, carefully reproduced chandeliers bring sparkling magic to today's homes. These traditional products are being handcrafted by Virginia Metalcrafters in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. The desire to produce fine replicas in the tradition of the past places Virginia Metalcrafters in the category of a craft shop, serving the needs of the American consumer. The manufacturing process starts in the foundry, where craft skills dating back over thousands of years are adapted to the best techniques of today. Molten metal is prepared in a modern electric furnace and poured from a hand ladle. To make a casting, molten metal is poured into a sand mold. The mold is made from sand, which is fed from an overhead conveyor. The molder uses a frame called a flask to hold the sand and the pattern in place. First, the bottom half is loaded with sand and packed by jolting. The flask is then turned and the top half is loaded and packed. The mold is then opened so the pattern can be removed, and if desired, a core is placed in the center to make the casting hollow. Many products, like candlesticks, are made hollow with such a core. Cores are made from specially treated sand, which has been baked in an oven to make it hard. The two halves are joined together and the flask is removed. The mold is now ready to receive the molten metal. A special formula of brass is used for reproduction work. A crucible of molten brass is brought directly from the electric furnace to the pouring line by an overhead carrier system. The temperature of the metal is about 1850 degrees Fahrenheit, and it is poured into the sand mold through a hole called a sprue. The metal runs into the cavity in the center of the mold and forms an exact copy of the pattern. When the metal cools and solidifies, the sand is broken away, revealing the casting. The sand is pushed through grates in the floor and back into a machine that cleans it and prepares it to be used again. Casting moves on to be cleaned, sawed, and made ready for the next operation. Many castings are machined to precise dimensions on a modern turret lathe, equipped with a hydraulic tracing device that reproduces an exact profile. The same machine is used to drill, tap, or bore the ends of the casting while it is in place. To do the same job, 18th century craftsmen used hand tools to cut the metal on manual lathes. In the finishing department, emery belts are used to remove flashing and parting lines on castings that have not been machined. This operation is called belt polishing. Emery belts of various grits are used to give a satin-like finish in preparation for final buffing. It takes skilled hands to maneuver parts over a moving belt without destroying detail or the graceful contour of a piece. Many products are partially assembled before buffing. Others must be drilled, tapped, and bored on small drill presses. Jigs are used to ensure conformity. Only by hand buffing, using cotton wheels impregnated with special compounds and rouge, can a superior finish be obtained. It takes 2 to 3 buffing operations to complete a piece and produce a finish of depth and luster. After each buffing, the piece must be cleaned in a special solvent. All parts are inspected before and after final assembly. This double inspection helps to ensure that only the finest pieces leave our shop. As with all handcrafted products, they may bear minor inconsistencies, which add to their value as one-of-a-kind pieces. Finished parts, like fireplace andirons, are completely assembled to assure that each handmade piece fits. Fireplace fenders are made in standard sizes or to the exact dimensions of the customer's fireplace. Each fender is hand-woven using traditional craft skills. Most of the 18th century brass chandelier reproductions have been electrified. Smaller sized adaptations are made to fit today's homes. Reproductions are also made from other traditional materials, such as tin, pewter, and wood. Virginia Metalcrafters manufactures a collection of wooden lighting fixtures and accessories. The making of wooden accessories starts with kiln-dried mahogany from the forests of South America. The lumber is first planed. From the planed lumber, parts are cut, shaped, and routed. Each part is carefully sanded to a smooth finish. Parts must be cut to exact dimensions so that when they are assembled in the gluing jigs, they fit perfectly. This assembly, with 8 side pieces and a bottom, will eventually be an octagonal tea caddy. Assembled wood products are stained, hand-rubbed, and lacquered 4 to 7 times to obtain the finish so distinctive and characteristic of handcrafted products. Brass hardware and other fittings are then added to complete the process. The Victorious division of Virginia Metalcrafters produces frame pictures. This operation requires quality picture frame molding. Our molding is made from kiln-dried basswood, which is cut into long strips prior to shaping. Molding profiles are produced on a mill-to-pattern molding machine. The molding is machined and hand-sanded to make each piece ready for the base coat of paint or stain. After the first coat of stain, the molding is sanded again to remove excess stain and smooth the surface. Some styles of molding are hand-rubbed in between applications of lacquer. As many as 7 coats of lacquer may be applied before the desired finish is obtained. After the final hand-rubbing, the molding is ready for inspection. Other styles of molding receive a different treatment called metal leafing. Applying gold metal leaf to an intricate molding profile requires many months of practice. Today, the best leaf comes from northern Italy, where it is made by hammering metal to a thickness of 2/10,000ths of an inch. Metal leafing is a tedious process and cannot be duplicated by painting or any other method. To give molding that old look requires an artful application of paints, stains, and coatings combined with distressing techniques. This is called antiquing. The idea is to give a frame that old look without detracting from the finish and the style of the molding. Cutting is done on the chopping machine, which forms a perfect miter. These pieces, or chops as they are called, are packaged and shipped to customers throughout the country. Much of the molding is made for Virginia Metalcrafters' frame picture division. In addition, many pictures require a hand-painted mat. Mat painters must know how to mix paints and apply them with brush or pen. Each mat is designed to complement the picture. Many of the pictures are engravings, printed from plates that are over 100 years old. These engravings are hand-colored, using permanent watercolors. Subtle tones are used to create a faithful reproduction of the original. After an engraving has been painted, it is mounted and fitted with a proper mat. Final assembly is handled by a fitter. After fitting, the picture is sealed with a dust cover. A label of authenticity is added, completing a fine quality piece of art. At Virginia Metalcrafters, we produce over 600 metal products, 150 styles of picture frame molding, 300 frame pictures, and hundreds of custom Foundry castings. Our consumer products are sold through fine retail stores, interior designers, and specialty shops across the United States. In this day of automation and mass production, our nation's history is preserved by craftsmen who maintain our heritage of quality and fine design. As a licensed manufacturer for Colonial Williamsburg and other restorations, we are ever mindful of the need to maintain the standards of workmanship that were the hallmarks of the 18th century craftsman. Adding quality to life through the recreation of the past is our goal and a rewarding experience for everyone at Virginia Metalcrafters. I hope you've caught a sense of the vision and purpose that we have at Virginia Metalcrafters. As I said before the tour, we do it the hard way. In a highly mechanical and automated world, the hand skills, the human involvement required to produce a decorative brass casting as it was made 200 years ago are truly unique. As you may have gathered from the tour, our emphasis is on home furnishings. From magnificent chandeliers, lamps, and sconces, to fireplace andirons and tool sets. From decorative hardware and yard and patio items, to accent pieces for the desk and den, or almost anywhere in the home. Our commitment is to bring you the very finest in styling and hand craftsmanship. Decorative pieces whose value lies not only in their graceful lines and beautifully polished surfaces, but also in their intrinsic worth. Our products embody the special value of something created step by step with human hands. You'll find our products in literally thousands of retail stores and interior design shops across the United States. To see an especially extensive selection of our offering, I invite you to visit a Virginia Metalcrafters gallery. The galleries are retailers who have made an extensive commitment to Virginia Metalcrafters products. A list of galleries is enclosed with this video cassette. Thank you for your time today. I hope you've gained an appreciation for the heritage we strive to preserve at Virginia Metalcrafters. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to write me, Charles Salembier, at the address that will appear in a few moments. Again, I've enjoyed this opportunity to bring you the Virginia Metalcrafters story.